Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Reading Between the Lines. I am your host, the Water Dog, and today I got a 4-pack for you, brother. We're going to talk about some combat cards. But before I do that, do me the kind favor of hitting up my sponsor today, KGS Cards. Go to www.kgs-cards. He's got a 3rd tradition progeny and a 4th tradition accounting promos for you when you make your orders. Gang, our 4-pack, we're going to start with just something that I like to play with, man, and I do love Backstep, so let's get to it, man. Backstep is just a combat card. It has no discipline requirements. Let's just kind of read what it says. It says, maneuver, only usable to go to long range if the opposing minion's strike successfully inflicts any damage on this minion this round. The opposing minion gets an optional press. Now, to me, the downside of the card of getting the optional press means nothing. It just doesn't mean anything. What I like about the card, no discipline. Okay? Doesn't require discipline, so you can use this card with any minion. Okay? So you can then take this and then maneuver back. That way now you can do your range strike. I can't tell you how many times I've played something like an Age from Bats, okay, card, where you get the maneuver and then somebody maneuvers close and all of a sudden you're stuck in close and all of a sudden they grapple and then your aids, from bats is destroyed. Now that's why you stick in about 6 backsteps in there. Okay, you put some backsteps in there, and it's a maneuver that doesn't cost you anything. And the other great thing is it's not like some of the other maneuvers where you can't, where like some maneuvers you have to you can't replace when you play them. Backstep allows you to do that, okay? So you can replace, you can draw and replace, and then you might draw into an extra, Age from Bats if you need that, okay? And so, good card for combat, allows you to move away, get some distance. It's even good in situations where you just don't want to take a hit, you just don't want to get hit, so you just move back, because really the only other combat decks that you're really going to worry about really is going to be something like a Banu Hakim or a Tremere, where they're going to be using Thaumaturgy, and they steal life, and so they're still not going to get the extra press because they're stealing life with Theft from VTES, and so it's not damage. So theft, stealing, from the vampire is not the same as damaging the vampire, and so there's a difference in there. So that's why I like Backstep, man. Just a good combat card. I put it in any animalism deck that I'm playing, especially because it allows me to get that distance, and it helps me with my carrion crows, and me not being able to take a hit. That extra maneuver, you just can't, believe just how good that's going to get you. All righty. Card number two, Martyrs Resilience. I've talked about this card in a couple of videos. Let me do this real quick and let me kind of look this up for you real quick. I've talked about this when we talked about Emerald Legionnaires, and that's in episode 34. So if you go to that video, you'll see me talk about it in that particular video. And then when I talked about the Hakata, that was episode 66. And so if you go to episode 66, same thing. Where I talk about this card, this is just a great card if you're going to play an allied deck, okay? And so let's kind of look at what it is. Now you got to have Auspex, you got to have Fortitude, okay? And it says only usable by an unlocked vampire not involved in the current combat. At the inferior, prevent 1 damage to a minion or retainer in combat. And then at the superior, burn X blood to prevent X plus 1 damage to a minion or retainer in combat. Okay? So, what's really good about this is a prevention. You can protect, for example, you can protect your Renegade Guru where he's not getting hit. Okay? You can protect your Emerald Legionnaire where he's not getting hit, You can protect your Carlton where he's not getting hit, okay? And then now with all these new Hakata allies out there, you can prevent that as well. It's just a really good card. Now, the other thing, too, don't forget, is that it says minions. So that means you can also prevent damage that's being attached to another vampire. So if you wanted to help, protect one of your vampires from having them soak up damage, okay? Then you can just transfer that to another vampire by using Martyrs Resilience. I like the card. I've played it in a lot of decks, and it's just been there. I can't tell you how many times it's helpful to keep that ally on the table for an extra turn when your opponent doesn't think that it's still going to be there. Okay, I'm going to block, I'm going to get in this combat, I'm going to kill that ally this turn, I ain't got to deal with it anymore, and lo and behold, you've prevented that damage, and then they've got to deal with it for another turn. It's just really, really good. Martyrs Resilience. Let's go to card number 3. Once again, a card I've talked about before, and I love Torrent. And so let me see which videos that I've talked about this, because I know I repeat myself, but there's certain cards that are just waterdog cards that I love to play. Okay, and so you'll see them up there. Okay, so we're gonna go to looking. Where's this at? Here we go. It's going to be in video 44, the 30th anniversary Toreador tweak, so you can catch it in that video right there. And there's another Toreador video that I did, which is the Gulf Coast Roast New Orleans Toreador version, where I updated a little bit, which is episode 46. So if you go to episode 44, 46, I kind of go through deck analysis and talk a little bit about Torrent. And so here we go. It's a celerity card. Costs you 2 blood. At the inferior, additional strike, and that's a limited additional strike. And then a superior strike, combat ends. If this vampire was blocked while performing an action, the action continues as if unblocked. I like to throw surprises at my opponents where they just don't see it coming all the time, because there's just, there's usually a pattern of cards that are going to be played in a sequence, and everybody gets kind of used to those pattern of cards being played. And to me, there's just not many players that play with Torrent, and so my opponents don't see it coming when it happens. And this ability to continue in action is really good, especially when you're talking about vampires like Toreadors, okay, who don't have a whole lot of stealth, or they have to generate stealth in different ways, which is one of the things they've done with the 30th anniversary deck. You can generate a lot of stealth in a lot of different ways now. But here's another way to do that, and that is to, get into the combat, end the combat, and then continue the action, to continue go forward. It's just another way to just kind of keep those votes coming. And the other thing is that at worst, it's a combat ends. It's going to cost you 1 more, but it's a combat ends. And then don't forget that if you do get into a combat where you can actually put a vampire in Topor, you got an additional strike. It's 2, it's expensive, but it's really, really good. And I always like to stick a couple of those into a deck. Simply because I can't tell you how many times I've been able to get an action, off simply because I've played Torrent in it. Just a really, really good card. Good combat card. I like it a lot. So here we go. The last one. Unflinching Persistence. This is a Fortitude card. At the inferior, prevent 1 damage, and at the superior, maneuver, and this vampire can prevent 1 damage later this round. This is such a good card. I do like playing this card in combat decks. I do like playing this card simply as a defense card. So, there's a lot of clans out there that really have to rely on Fortitude, and one of the things that Fortitude can do for you is it can prevent. Okay, what I like about this one is it gives you the maneuver and prevention. Works really, really good in my Gangrel decks, because once again, if you're going to play, Carrion Crows, Aid for Bats type of style, to be able to get that maneuver, that extra maneuver is priceless in those decks. And at worst, you can always, discard it, or should I say, play it to prevent the one when you end up close. So you end up pressing with your Aid for Bats. You're up close to the next round. They hit you, and you just prevent with your Unflinching Persistence. And so there you go. Really, really good card. Hey, that's the 4-pack today, man. 4 cards, 4 combat, man. Rock and roll. Folks, I appreciate you watching. The Water Dog has been reading between the lines. Y'all take care. Whoa, you watched the whole video? Hey, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. If you like what you've been seeing, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Y'all take care.